Hi everyone, I'm Amy Patee. Welcome to my little yoga videos. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to turn Belly-Flop-Asana into a strong Chaturanga. And if you're sitting at home right now kind of scratching your head and wondering, what the heck do I mean by Belly-Flop-Asana or Chaturanga, I will show you. In every yoga class, or many yoga classes, you practice something called the Sun Salutations. And during the Sun Salutations, you move through this posture called Chaturanga. It's also known as four-limbed staff pose, and sometimes it's referred to as low plank. So when you're moving through your Sun Salutation, you come into a pose called plank position. From plank position, you lower down into what's called low plank or Chaturanga. From there, you move through your upward facing dog and then all the way back into your downward facing dog. Now, what happens in many cases is instead of lowering down into Chaturanga with the body aligned and in integrity, people do what's called a Belly-Flop-Asana, and it looks a little bit like this. From plank position, the lower body is already kind of heavy and collapsed. And from there, the upper body has a really hard time accommodating all of that weight. And so the body kind of flops to the floor. And there's nothing in and of itself wrong with doing a Belly-Flop-Asana. You probably are not going to hurt yourself, and you know, it's going to get you from plank to the floor so that you can move into your up dog. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't allow you to cultivate the core strength that doing Chaturanga in its correct way will allow. And also with every posture, when it's practiced with certain alignment constraints, there's physiological as well as energetic effects and benefits that occur as a result. So I'm going to share with you just a few ways that you can improve the practice of Chaturanga. The first thing that I'd like to suggest is when you come into your plank pose, if you're a Belly-Flop-Asana person, you're going to drop your knees and lift the navel towards the spine. And sometimes people don't realize that they're a Belly-Flop-Asana, but if you notice that your belly and your legs are getting to the floor before your chest and your head, then you're a Belly-Flop-Asana person. So before the belly and the legs have an opportunity to collapse to the floor, you're going to drop your knees and then work as best you can to engage your belly. And at this point, you can just think of trying to lift up your navel and draw it towards your spine. Keeping the belly engaged and the knees on the floor, you're going to work on actively engaging your arms inward. So you'll actually want to pull on your mat with your hands as if you're going to pull your hands towards one another. Your lower arms will be creating that same action of pulling in, and then your elbows and your upper arms will follow suit and they'll pull in as well. And that's just a way of connecting into your center and getting those arms to be a little bit more active and strong. So knees drop, belly lifts, arms draw in. From here, you're going to let your body weight shift slightly forward, and then this is the key. From here, you're going to reach with your mouth. So for some of you, you may even just want to let your head reach as far down as possible with your arms still straight, and then begin to bend your elbows and keep reaching with your mouth. Go for it. Imagine you need to take a bite out of something really fast. See if you can keep your elbows squeezing in and your elbows lifted. So that's elbows right over those wrists. So if your elbows start to fall back and you take your mouth down to the floor here, that's not what we're looking for. There has to be a shift forward, elbows and arms squeezing in, and then I'm going to reach with my mouth, taking myself down, and then hopefully pushing myself back up. If you can recreate these key little movements and practice them at home over and over again, the next time you go to class and you're moving through the Sun Salutation, and you know, oftentimes, sometimes when you're struggling with a certain pose, there's just not enough time for you to refine it right there in class unless the teacher is focusing on it. But if you refine it and practice it at home, the next time you go to the mat, the next time you go to class, your body will have a memory of that, and it will pick up the correct alignment more easily. So let's review that one more time. When you move through the Sun Salutation and you find yourself coming into plank pose, before your belly and your legs get an opportunity to collapse your lower body down to the floor, you're going to drop your knees. Lift the belly towards the spine. Engage the arms. Pull them in towards one another. Shift your weight slightly forward and then just go for it as if there's something down there that you cannot resist. You're going to try to take a bite out of something imaginary out in front of your fingers. And you can try to do that a few times. When you reach with your mouth, make sure the elbows are staying in and that your weight is shifting forward. So whatever you're aiming for with that mouth, it's out in the space in front of your fingers. You'll want to do that several times, and then eventually you can let yourself slide out onto your belly. And then from there, move into your up dog and back into your down dog. Practice in this way for a while until you feel really confident and really strong through the upper body. And then you can incorporate the lower body once you've really learned how to work with your core, keeping that belly lifted and engaged, and then adding the legs. And that will actually be, I'll do a part 2 of Belly-Flop-Asana to Chaturanga later on, where we can explore the engagement through the lower body. But in the meantime, work on your upper body, work on some of those key pieces of alignment, and see how your practice improves the next time you're in class. Thanks for joining me today. Have fun with your yoga practice, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.